Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over the range results and a little bit more into the 7mm Remington Magnum, which is chambered in a Browning X-Bolt. So, just so we can establish a baseline as to how well this rifle can shoot, we took some 140 grain Remington core-locked factory ammo, and we did a 3-shot group with it, and it was just over 3.5 inches. So it's obviously something not very good, and we really don't want to have that be the level of accuracy that we're looking for. So in this video, we're going to go over hand loads and kind of what this gun can actually do with good ammo. As we previously established, the 7mm Remington Magnum was designed around the 140 to the 160 grain weight mark for bullets. Now here we have something a little more on the traditional end of the 7mm Remington Magnum. We have a 120 grain Nosler ballistic tip, which is a little lighter than traditionally seen, but we also have that 140 grain Nosler, which does fall within that range. As we go here, we can see that the 120 grain Nosler ballistic is going to be the lightest bullet that we compare today, and it is going to be the fastest. But as we start to extend those ranges, not only will it start to have more drop, but it will also start to lose velocity a lot faster than these other heavier, higher BC bullets. Now, with that being said, one thing that we would like to stress is that it's not just about how fast you're going or how much drop you have, but also, can you hit the target? How consistent and how accurate can this load actually be? Now, these groups are some of the better groups I have gotten with these loads, but as we can see, for a hunting load, being right around half MOA to that 0.6, 0.7 inch group, both of these loads are going to be good enough for hunting. Now, the 7 Rem Mag was not originally intended to shoot heavy high BC bullets, but as we remember, that Browning X-Bolt does have a 1 8 inch twist, which as we look at these more modern hand loads with modern bullets, we can see that each of them does require a little bit faster, if not a faster twist rate than the 7 Mag was originally produced with. So as we look, this 100 grain Hammer Hunter has a BC of 0.287, which is a G7 BC. The 100 grain ELDM has a 0.401 G7, and the 195 grain Berger EOL has a BC of 0.387. So each of these loads has been shot, has been tested. I don't have film of each of them, but I do have film of that Hammer Hunter. Now, what we see is that each of these loads can vary some in their velocities. Some of them are going a little bit faster than others, and that is just because the powder and the load that was used to find the best accuracy. Now, as we look, the higher BCs, it does influence how flat and how fast it is. However, between these three loads, they're pretty even out at range. The biggest thing to note is that the bullet does require either a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 9 twist, which your traditional 7mm Remington Magnums does not have. Okay, 170 grain Hammer Hunters. Even though we were doing hand loads, that doesn't guarantee accuracy. As we can see here, one of the loads that we tried with that 170 grain Hammer Hunter really did not shoot that well. It was 1.3 inches. Now, we tried another few different loads, and we ended up with this one that was 0.819 inches. However, we had an extra load that I thought would do slightly better than this. This load is one of the best groups we've gotten out of this rifle so far. It is just over quarter MOA, going right around 2,991 feet per second. Now, this group was shown ballistically earlier in the video, so you can scroll back there and look at that chart. But what we saw was essentially that it does have enough velocity for expansion, and it does have a fairly flat trajectory at 500 yards. So should you want to shoot a solid copper bullet, this one would be a good option, both accuracy wise and ballistically. Now, if we just stick with the 140 to the 160 grain bullets that the 7 Rem Mag was originally designed around, ballistically it's not that special, it's not that great, but it does get the job done within hunting ranges. Now, if we want to extend those ranges and keep it ballistically significant today, what we would have to do is buy a new rifle or a newer rifle that has the faster twist rate. Now we can go with like a Browning, Fierce. I think most companies are starting to switch to that faster twist rate. If you want a more traditional twist rate, I know Tikka still has that 1 9.5 twist. But hand loading really pushes that 7 Rem Mag to become more ballistically relevant today. It can keep up and even beat the 7 PRC with certain loads. Now, it's not matching the 28 Nosler, but hand loaded, we can sure try to come close. Alrighty guys, leave a comment which bullet you would like us to try next in the 7mm Remington Magnum.